Welcome to Language Practice Hub.
Welcome to Language Practice Hub. Today, we're going to learn some useful and common phrasal verbs with simple, practical, and easy-to-understand examples. If you are a solo English learner, this video will be especially useful for you because you can learn and practice these phrasal verbs at your own pace. We'll learn what each phrasal verb means, how to use it naturally, and why it fits the sentence. So, get ready to learn, practice, and improve your English with us. Let's get started. Number 1. Wake up. I wake up at 6 a.m. every day. Wake up means to stop sleeping. We use this phrasal verb because the sentence is talking about the time when I stop sleeping and get out of bed. That is why we use wake up here. Number 2. Turn off. Please turn off the lights before you leave. Turn off means to stop a light, machine, or device from working. We use this phrasal verb because the person wants the lights to stop working before leaving. That is why we use turn off here. Number 3. Look after. She looks after her younger brother. Look after means to take care of someone. We use this phrasal verb because she is responsible for taking care of her younger brother. That is why we use look after here. Number 4. Give up. He gave up smoking last year. Give up means to stop doing something, especially a habit or activity. We use this phrasal verb because he stopped the habit of smoking. That is why we use give up here. Number 5. Run into. I ran into my old friend at the mall. Run into means to meet someone unexpectedly or by chance. We use this phrasal verb because I did not plan to meet my old friend. I met him unexpectedly. That is why we use run into here. Number 6. Pick up. Please pick up your clothes from the floor. Pick up means to lift something from the ground or another surface. We use this phrasal verb because the clothes are on the floor and need to be lifted. That is why we use pick up here. Number 7. Find out. We need to find out what happened. Find out means to discover or learn information. We use this phrasal verb because we want to discover the truth about what happened. That is why we use find out here. Number 8. Put on. She put on her jacket before going outside. Put on means to place clothing on your body. We use this phrasal verb because she is wearing her jacket before she goes outside. That is why we use put on here. Number 9. Look for. I am looking for my phone. Look for means to try to find someone or something. We use this phrasal verb because I am trying to find my phone. That is why we use look for here. Number 10. Call off. They called off the meeting because of the rain. Call off means to cancel something that was planned. We use this phrasal verb because the planned meeting was canceled. That is why we use call off here. Number 11. Take off. The plane took off at 8 a.m. Take off means to leave the ground and begin flying. We use this phrasal verb because the sentence is talking about a plane beginning its flight. That is why we use take off here. Number 12. Bring up. She brought up an important topic during the meeting. Bring up means to introduce a topic for discussion. We use this phrasal verb because she started talking about an important topic. That is why we use bring up here. Number 13. Carry on. Please carry on with your work. Carry on means to continue doing something. We use this phrasal verb because the person is being asked to continue their work. That is why we use carry on here. Number 14. Come across. I came across an interesting book at the library. Come across means to find or discover something unexpectedly. We use this phrasal verb because I found the interesting book by chance. That is why we use come across here. Number 15. Work out. I work out at the gym every morning. Workout means to exercise, especially at a gym. We use this phrasal verb because the sentence is talking about regular physical exercise. That is why we use workout here. Number 16. Set up. They set up a new business last year. Set up means to start or establish something. We use this phrasal verb because they started a new business. That is why we use set up here. Number 17. Get along. I get along well with my coworkers. Get along means to have a good relationship with someone. We use this phrasal verb because the sentence says that I have a good relationship with my coworkers. That is why we use get along here. Number 18. Look into. The manager will look into the problem. Look into means to investigate or examine something carefully. We use this phrasal verb because the manager wants to find out more about the problem. That is why we use look into here. Number 19. Fill out. Please fill out this application form. Fill out means to complete a form by writing the required information. We use this phrasal verb because the person needs to provide information on the application form. That is why we use fill out here. Number 20. Cut down on. I am trying to cut down on sugar. Cut down on means to reduce the amount of something you use or consume. We use this phrasal verb because I want to consume less sugar. That is why we use cut down on here. Number 21. Go over. Let's go over the lesson one more time. Go over means to review or examine something carefully. We use this phrasal verb because we want to review the lesson again. That is why we use go over here. Number 22. Put off. He put off the meeting until next week. Put off means to delay or postpone something. We use this phrasal verb because the meeting was moved to a later time. That is why we use put off here. Number 23. Take care of. She takes care of her parents. Take care of means to look after or help someone. We use this phrasal verb because she is responsible for helping and caring for her parents. That is why we use take care of here. Number 24. Break down. My car broke down on the way to work. Break down means to stop working, especially when talking about a machine or vehicle. We use this phrasal verb because the car suddenly stopped working. That is why we use break down here. Number 25. Check in. We checked in at the hotel at 3 p.m. Check-in means to officially register when arriving at a hotel, airport, or similar place. We use this phrasal verb because we registered at the hotel after arriving. That is why we use check-in here. Number 26. Drop off. I dropped off my brother at school. Drop off means to take someone somewhere and leave them there. We use this phrasal verb because I took my brother to school and left him there. That is why we use drop off here. Number 27. Figure out. I finally figured out the answer. Figure out means to understand or solve something. We use this phrasal verb because I found the correct answer after thinking about it. That is why we use figure out here. Number 28. Hang out. We usually hang out with our friends on weekends. Hang out means to spend time relaxing or socializing with someone. We use this phrasal verb because we spend our free time with our friends. That is why we use hang out here. Number 29. Point out. The teacher pointed out my mistake. Point out means to show or mention something important. We use this phrasal verb because the teacher showed me the mistake I made. That is why we use point out here. Number 30. End up. We ended up staying home because of the rain. End up means to finally be in a particular situation, especially one that was not planned. We use this phrasal verb because we did not plan to stay home, but that was what finally happened. That is why we use end up here. Number 31. Call back. I'll call you back after lunch. Call back means to return a phone call. We use this phrasal verb because I am going to phone the person again after lunch. That is why we use call back here. Number 32. Break up. They decided to break up after many arguments. Break up means to end a romantic relationship. We use this phrasal verb because the couple decided to end their relationship. That is why we use break up here. Number 33. Get back. What time did you get back from work? Get back means to return to a place. We use this phrasal verb because the sentence asks about the time someone returned from work. That is why we use get back here. Number 34. Go ahead. You can go ahead and start the presentation. Go ahead means to start or continue with something. We use this phrasal verb because the person is being given permission to start the presentation. That is why we use go ahead here. Number 35. Keep up. It is difficult to keep up with the latest technology. Keep up with means to stay informed or at the same level as something that is changing. We use this phrasal verb because technology changes very quickly. That is why we use keep up with here. Number 36. Make up. They made up after their argument. Make up means to become friendly again after an argument. We use this phrasal verb because the two people stopped being angry with each other. That is why we use make up here. Number 37. Pass away. His grandfather passed away peacefully. Pass away is a polite way to say that someone died. We use this phrasal verb because it is a respectful expression when talking about someone's death. That is why we use pass away here. Number 38. Pay back. I will pay back the money next month. Pay back means to return money that you borrowed from someone. We use this phrasal verb because I am talking about returning borrowed money. That is why we use pay back here. Number 39. Show up. He showed up late for the interview. Show up means to arrive or appear at a place. We use this phrasal verb because he arrived at the interview later than expected. That is why we use show up here. Number 40. Speak up. Could you speak up, please? I can't hear you. Speak up means to speak more loudly. We use this phrasal verb because the speaker is difficult to hear. That is why we use speak up here. Number 41. Try on. She tried on 3 dresses before choosing one. Try on means to put on clothes to see if they fit or look good. We use this phrasal verb because she is checking different dresses before buying one. That is why we use try on here. Number 42. Turn down. He turned down the job offer. Turn down means to refuse or reject something. We use this phrasal verb because he decided not to accept the job offer. That is why we use turn down here. Number 43. Warm up. The players warmed up before the match. Warm up means to prepare your body for exercise or physical activity. We use this phrasal verb because the players exercised lightly before starting the match. That is why we use warm up here. Number 44. Watch out. Watch out. There is a car coming. Watch out means to be careful or alert because there may be danger. We use this phrasal verb because the person needs to notice the approaching car. That is why we use watch out here. Number 45. Write down. Please write down my phone number. Write down means to record information on paper or digitally. We use this phrasal verb because the person needs to record the phone number. That is why we use write down here. Number 46. Backup. Remember to back up your important files. Backup means to make a copy of data so it is not lost. We use this phrasal verb because making a copy protects important files from being lost. That is why we use backup here. Number 47. Bring back. This song brings back many childhood memories. Bring back means to make someone remember something from the past. We use this phrasal verb because the song reminds the person of childhood memories. That is why we use bring back here. Number 48. Cut off. The storm cut off the electricity. Cut off means to stop or interrupt a supply, connection, or service. We use this phrasal verb because the storm caused the electricity supply to stop. That is why we use cut off here. Number 49. Deal with. We need to deal with this problem quickly. Deal with means to handle or take action to solve a problem or situation. We use this phrasal verb because we need to handle the problem. That is why we use deal with here. Number 50. Leave out. Don't leave out any important details. Leave out means to omit or not include something. We use this phrasal verb because the speaker wants all important details to be included. That is why we use leave out here. Number 51. Bring in. The new product brought in more customers. Bring in means to attract or generate something, especially customers or money. We use this phrasal verb because the new product attracted more customers. That is why we use bring in here. Number 52. Come back. She came back home after the trip. Come back means to return to a place. We use this phrasal verb because she returned home after being away. That is why we use come back here. Number 53. Come up with. He came up with a great idea for the project. Come up with means to think of or create an idea or plan. We use this phrasal verb because he thought of a new idea. That is why we use come up with here. Number 54. Get over. It took her weeks to get over the disappointment. Get over means to recover emotionally from something difficult or upsetting. We use this phrasal verb because she needed time to recover from the disappointment. That is why we use get over here. Number 55. Go through. She went through all the documents carefully. Go through means to examine or review something carefully. We use this phrasal verb because she carefully checked all the documents. That is why we use go through here. Number 56. Hold on. Hold on for a minute. I'll be right back. Hold on means to wait for a short time. We use this phrasal verb because the speaker is asking someone to wait. That is why we use hold on here. Number 57. Keep on. She kept on practicing until she improved. Keep on means to continue doing something. We use this phrasal verb because she continued practicing without stopping. That is why we use keep on here. Number 58. Let down. I trusted him, but he let me down. Let down means to disappoint someone. We use this phrasal verb because he failed to meet the speaker's expectations. That is why we use let down here. Number 59. Look up. I looked up the word in the dictionary. Look up means to search for information in a book or online. We use this phrasal verb because I searched for the meaning of the word. That is why we use look up here. Number 60. Move on. After the failure, he decided to move on. Move on means to continue with your life after a difficult experience. We use this phrasal verb because he decided not to remain focused on the past. That is why we use move on here. Number 61. Narrow down. We narrowed down the list to 3 candidates. Narrow down means to reduce the number of choices. We use this phrasal verb because the large list was reduced to only 3 candidates. That is why we use narrow down here. Number 62. Pay off. All her hard work finally paid off. Pay off means to produce a good result after effort or hard work. We use this phrasal verb because her hard work eventually brought a positive result. That is why we use pay off here. Number 63. Put away. Please put away your books after studying. Put away means to return something to its proper place. We use this phrasal verb because the books need to be returned to where they belong. That is why we use put away here. Number 64. Put together. We put together a simple plan for the event. Put together means to create or organize something by combining different parts. We use this phrasal verb because we created a plan by organizing different ideas. That is why we use put together here. Number 65. Reach out. I reached out to my teacher for advice. Reach out means to contact someone, usually to ask for help or support. We use this phrasal verb because I contacted my teacher to ask for advice. That is why we use reach out here. Number 66. Run out of. We ran out of milk this morning. Run out of means to have no more of something left. We use this phrasal verb because there was no milk remaining. That is why we use run out of here. Number 67. Sort out. We need to sort out this issue before Friday. Sort out means to solve or organize a problem or situation. We use this phrasal verb because we need to solve the issue. That is why we use sort out here. Number 68. Take over. The new manager took over the department. Take over means to take control or responsibility for something. We use this phrasal verb because the new manager became responsible for the department. That is why we use take over here. Number 69. Think over. I need some time to think over your offer. Think over means to consider something carefully before making a decision. We use this phrasal verb because I need time to carefully consider the offer. That is why we use think over here. Number 70. Turn up. He turned up at the party without telling anyone. Turn up means to arrive or appear somewhere, often unexpectedly. We use this phrasal verb because he arrived at the party without informing anyone beforehand. That is why we use turn up here. Number 71. Break in. Someone tried to break in while we were sleeping. Break in means to enter a building illegally or by force. We use this phrasal verb because someone tried to enter the house without permission. That is why we use break in here. Number 72. Brush up on. I need to brush up on my English before the interview. Brush up on means to improve a skill or knowledge that you have not used recently. We use this phrasal verb because I want to improve my English skills before the interview. That is why we use brush up on here. Number 73. Bump into. I bumped into my neighbor at the supermarket. Bump into means to meet someone unexpectedly. We use this phrasal verb because I met my neighbor by chance at the supermarket. That is why we use bump into here. Number 74. Catch up. I need to catch up on my homework this weekend. Catch up on means to do something that you did not have time to do earlier. We use this phrasal verb because I need to complete the homework I have fallen behind on. That is why we use catch up on here. Number 75. Cheer up. I bought her some flowers to cheer her up. Cheer up means to make someone feel happier. We use this phrasal verb because the flowers are intended to make her feel better. That is why we use cheer up here. Number 76. Clear up. The weather cleared up after lunch. Clear up means to become brighter or less cloudy. We use this phrasal verb because the cloudy weather became clear after lunch. That is why we use clear up here. Number 77. Come along. My little brother came along with us to the park. Come along means to go somewhere with someone. We use this phrasal verb because my brother joined us on our trip to the park. That is why we use come along here. Number 78. Count on. You can count on me when you need help. Count on means to trust or depend on someone. We use this phrasal verb because the speaker is saying that the other person can depend on them. That is why we use count on here. Number 79. Dress up. We dressed up for the wedding. Dress up means to wear nicer or more formal clothes than usual. We use this phrasal verb because we wore special clothes for the wedding. That is why we use dress up here. Number 80. Eat out. We decided to eat out after work. Eat out means to eat at a restaurant instead of at home. We use this phrasal verb because we plan to have our meal at a restaurant. That is why we use eat out here. Number 81. Fall apart. The old chair finally fell apart. Fall apart means to break into pieces or stop being in good condition. We use this phrasal verb because the old chair broke into separate pieces. That is why we use fall apart here. Number 82. Fill in. Can you fill in this form for me? Fill in means to add the required information to a form or document. We use this phrasal verb because the person needs to enter information in the form. That is why we use fill in here. Number 83. Get by. She can get by on a small salary. Get by means to manage with the money, time, or resources that you have. We use this phrasal verb because she is able to manage with a limited salary. That is why we use get by here. Number 84. Get in. What time did you get in last night? Get in means to arrive at a place, especially home or work. We use this phrasal verb because the sentence asks when someone arrived home. That is why we use get in here. Number 85. Get off. We got off the bus near the station. Get off means to leave a bus, train, plane, or other form of transport. We use this phrasal verb because we left the bus at the station. That is why we use get off here. Number 86. Get on. She got on the train just before it left. Get on means to enter a bus, train, plane, or other form of transport. We use this phrasal verb because she entered the train before it departed. That is why we use get on here. Number 87. Get rid of. I need to get rid of these old clothes. Get rid of means to remove or throw away something you no longer want. We use this phrasal verb because I want to remove my old clothes. That is why we use get rid of here. Number 88. Give back. Please give back the book when you finish reading it. Give back means to return something to the person who owns it. We use this phrasal verb because the book needs to be returned after reading. That is why we use give back here. Number 89. Go on. Please go on with your story. Go on means to continue doing or saying something. We use this phrasal verb because the person is being asked to continue telling the story. That is why we use go on here. Number 90. Grow up. He grew up in a small village. Grow up means to develop from a child into an adult. We use this phrasal verb because the sentence describes the place where he spent his childhood. That is why we use grow up here. Number 91. Hand in. Please hand in your assignment by Monday. Hand in means to give completed work to a teacher or other person in authority. We use this phrasal verb because students need to submit their assignments. That is why we use hand in here. Number 92. Hold back. She tried to hold back her tears. Hold back means to prevent yourself from showing or expressing something. We use this phrasal verb because she was trying not to cry. That is why we use hold back here. Number 93. Keep away. Keep away from the wet paint. Keep away from means to stay at a distance from someone or something. We use this phrasal verb because the person should not go near the wet paint. That is why we use keep away here. Number 94. Leave behind. She left her umbrella behind at the restaurant. Leave behind means to accidentally leave something somewhere. We use this phrasal verb because she forgot to take her umbrella with her when she left. That is why we use leave behind here. Number 95. Log in. I logged into my account before starting work. Log in means to enter a computer system or online account using your username and password. We use this phrasal verb because I accessed my online account before working. That is why we use log in here. Number 96. Look out for. Look out for my message this evening. Look out for means to watch or pay attention so that you notice someone or something. We use this phrasal verb because the person should watch for the message. That is why we use look out for here. Number 97. Make up for. He worked late to make up for lost time. Make up for means to compensate for something that was lost, missed, or lacking. We use this phrasal verb because he worked extra hours to compensate for the time he lost. That is why we use make up for here. Number 98. Pass out. He passed out because the room was extremely hot. Pass out means to suddenly become unconscious. We use this phrasal verb because he lost consciousness due to the extreme heat. That is why we use pass out here. Number 99. Pull over. The police officer asked the driver to pull over. Pull over means to move a vehicle to the side of the road and stop. We use this phrasal verb because the driver was asked to stop the car at the side of the road. That is why we use pull over here. Number 100. Settle down. The children finally settled down after dinner. Settle down means to become calm and quiet. We use this phrasal verb because the children became calmer after being active. That is why we use settle down here. Ears. Hold back means to prevent yourself from showing or expressing something. We use this phrasal verb because she was trying not to cry. That is why we use hold back here. Number 93. Keep away. Keep away from the wet paint. Keep away from means to stay at a distance from someone or something. We use this phrasal verb because the person should not go near the wet paint. That is why we use keep away here. Number 94. Leave behind. She left her umbrella behind at the restaurant. Leave behind means to accidentally leave something somewhere. We use this phrasal verb because she forgot to take her umbrella with her when she left. That is why we use leave behind here. Number 95. Log in. I logged into my account before starting work. Log in means to enter a computer system or online account using your username and password. We use this phrasal verb because I accessed my online account before working. That is why we use log in here. Number 96. Look out for. Look out for my message this evening. Look out for means to watch or pay attention so that you notice someone or something. We use this phrasal verb because the person should watch for the message. That is why we use look out for here. Number 97. Make up for. He worked late to make up for lost time. Make up for means to compensate for something that was lost, missed, or lacking. We use this phrasal verb because he worked extra hours to compensate for the time he lost. That is why we use make up for here. Number 98. Pass out. He passed out because the room was extremely hot. Pass out means to suddenly become unconscious. We use this phrasal verb because he lost consciousness due to the extreme heat. That is why we use pass out here. Number 99. Pull over. The police officer asked the driver to pull over. Pull over means to move a vehicle to the side of the road and stop. We use this phrasal verb because the driver was asked to stop the car at the side of the road. That is why we use pull over here. Number 100. Settle down. The children finally settled down after dinner. Settle down means to become calm and quiet. We use this phrasal verb because the children became calmer after being active. That is why we use settle down here.
Thanks for watching. Keep learning, keep growing.